kid. I still look up to him, but he's a great writer. He's written about 1 million books. He's never left the East Village in his tiny studio apartment because he hates money. I'm like, wow, if you hate money, you're doing a great job. Anyway, I met him after reading about him, like reading his columns since I was 15. I met him in person after the last Compound Censored, and he posted a picture of me on his Facebook. And it started a war. And I thought, this is pretty typical of people who don't know who I am. And it's my favorite subject, of course, me. I'm like a black person in that when I want to write a book, I just do me search. If I did a PhD, it would be called Being English, Scottish, Canadian, and American in Today's Society. And what's it like to have a mustache? Becoming Michelle. No, it's just called Becoming. But then it says Michelle Obama. Every black PhD is being black in Chicago with one tit that's slightly bigger than the other. It's fucking insanely hard.
They'll have that one event that they go back to, be like, I remember I was 16. I was on a bus. I wasn't welcome.
Yeah. They follow me around the store.
Yeah. It's always
because a lot of shoplifters are black.
Yeah. And from that moment on.
Now they follow you around the store because you have a contractor bag and you're loading it up with Maybelline products. I mean, I was shoplifting, but like those rappers last week who confessed to a murder in their song, got arrested, and it's a violation of their free speech. Okay. Free speech, it includes confessions. Shit, what happened to me there?
Oh no.
I had a stroke. Anyway, let's just indulge me for a second here and look at the commentary. The man is an absolute festering piece of racist shit. Used to walk around in a screwdriver shirt.
Damn.
With the most vile imagery imaginable, pretend it was all a big offensive joke, but it wasn't. How do you know it wasn't? Punk points should be given for punching this man. Well, I'm happy to fight you, Rob. But the shirt he's talking about, it was a funny shirt. It said Screwdriver, which is a Nazi skinhead band. I made it myself, and then I put a picture above of a panel from Robert Crumb's comic, and brace yourself, this is going to be pretty hard to hear, When the Goddamn Take Over America, which you can try to dig up maybe. And it's a really good example of how we've lost our sense of humor. Robert Crumb was doing a parody of Fear of Blacks. So he made a comic. He did another one too called When the Goddamn Jews Take Over America, which I was kind of mimicking when I did my 10 Things I Hate About the Jews, because the original tweet said 10 Things I Hate About the Goddamn Motherfucking Jews. And it was, of course, ironic, just like How to Fight a Baby and all the other things. Oh yeah, that's what it was called, When the Take Over America. So you see that bottom panel?
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah. Are you afraid of young black men? You ought to be. They hate your white guts. Look at the spooky picture, right?
That's hilarious, yeah.
Yeah, so it was a funny shirt. And this was back when you could, irony was still alive. This is the early aughts in New York City. I had another one that said Speak English with an American flag that made people really mad.
It's almost like you're making fun of Screwdriver.
Yes.
Right.
Of course. Those are some of the funniest comics ever. And it's funny, you see the way it's interpreted now, and they're mad about it now. Like, they tried to cancel Crumb for that in retrospect. P.J. O'Rourke, his Guide to the Races, was not retroactively cancelable. And nor was Howard Stern's blackface. Or Jimmy Kimmel's. It's funny how some people survive, huh? Because Robert Crumb is liberal, and he's married to a Jew. I guess his daughter's Jewish, right? Anyway, let's look at some of these. So I need to be punched in the face. So racist, he's sharing a respectful conversation with a Jewish guy. And then they think it's a Crash Driver shirt, which was a parody band of Screwdriver. I should have given him one instead of an Artless CD. That's Michael Bord's band. Yes, of course, Jewish people can't be racist, too. It's in the Torah. LOL. This absolutely proves he's not racist. LOL. I bet he has a black friend, too. Which I've said in the past is always mocked as bullshit when you say some of my best friends are black. It seems like a pretty good argument to me. Like, your racism can't be that deep. Like John Kinsman with his black wife. They go, well, slave owners used to fuck their black wives. And you're like, well, they can't be the most dangerous racists in the world if they're married to a black woman with black kids. It can't be that deep, if there is any. Anyone can be racist. Let's not forget, obsessed people can also see racism everywhere and go full Pavlov. I don't know, wearing a screwdriver shirt means you either subscribe to the philosophy or you're a churlish edgelord trying to shock. It's not even trying to shock. You're just like, this is funny. I don't care.
That's before edgelords really existed too. That's when edgy meant something.
Yeah, like it was 2001. The World Trade Center just collapsed. You know what I mean? We were all kind of nihilistic then. Next. That's like saying wearing a germs shirt automatically means you give blowjobs and shoot heroin, which is a weird angle. Or if you wear a GG shirt, Gigi Allen, you drink your own pee and punch girls. Punch first, ask questions later. That seems to be the general consensus these days. And then next. Did you miss the most vile imagery? So that picture I just showed you, that cartoon, is the quote-unquote most vile imagery. I'm not cut from the easily offended cloth. What a weird thing to say. That's vile. There's context and arguments, fine lines throughout most of the art and culture I love. This man is a shit stain, full stop, are his stands. What? Michael Board, do you have no idea of the things this man has spewed? He has advocated violence at every turn and repeatedly platformed countless dangerous neo-Nazis. Now, that's the reason I'm bringing up this thing. In the old days, you would have a Nazi on your show and you'd argue with him. Richard Spencer was on ESPN debating with people, and there was two black guys, like black basketball players, and he was like, I love white privilege, blah, 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 and they're like, you're a jerk. David Duke was on CNN with Wolf Blitzer, and they would argue. That was what we used to do. Then the racists started winning the arguments, and so it didn't become a debate. It became giving Nazis a platform. Now, I didn't lose. Like with Richard Spencer, I said, it is idiotic to think you could make America all white. Where are you going to send blacks? What about mixed race couples? Do they go on cruise ships? Where in Africa do they go to? What about Jamaicans? Blah, 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 blah. Right? It's not a hard argument to attack. But the fact that I spoke to him is a sin. And it's also worth noting that Richard Spencer changed. When I met him in 2008, he was just a normal conservative. Then it was alternative right, then it was alt-right, and then he was Zeke Heiling. Saying hail Trump. I've advocated blah, blah, blah. Any attack on this man is not punch first by any means and should be considered self-defense. His slack-jawed followers have taken this message to heart and hit the streets, violently attacking countless people. It could be billions, while shouting racist and homophobic slurs is the next card. Now, what he's talking about there is Antifa ambushing Max and John, who, by the way, are 9 months away from their 4-year sentence. So the punishment for these guys is 4 years in prison. I should still be punched, though, because they're following me. Antifa ambushes them, throws a bottle of piss at them, they beat them up, and they get 4 years. That's not good enough, apparently. And the two things I think he's talking about here, because he says homophobic and racist things, Max did say fucking faggot during that fight. I don't know if you've ever been to a fight or been in a fight, but rude words get hurled around. They didn't go to the West Village and go, let's look for some fucking faggots to beat up. So, some pussies, I think they were gay actually, picked a fight with them, was winning at the beginning of the fight, by the way. If you'll notice, they were doing okay, and then eventually lost. And then Max yelled, there was fucking 4 of them, which the press reported as being, they were fucking foreigners. Which nobody says.
And they weren't.
So no Antifa are foreigners, ever. They're all rich white kids. And the 3 Antifa that beat up a conservative that same night at my show, Caleb Perkins, Finbar Slonim, and Kai Russo, 2 of those were rich white kids from fancy homes. One of the guys that they beat up, the Antifa guy, he summers in Denmark. Not even bi-coastal. He's bi-continental. Anyway, there is no place for advocating violence against vulnerable and marginalized people. Where'd you get that? These are not civil people. These are not opinions. So now he's leaking into me saying choke a tranny. and you remember what that was Antifa was spitting in the faces of Trump supporters at NYU, and the Trump supporters were just going, security, with spit dripping down their face. And then they couldn't hit the guys because the guys would say, identify as a woman, you can't hit me, you can't hit a woman. And I was like, no, that's not a magic force field. I'm a tranny. No, and then I said, choke a tranny in that context. Put your fingers around the windpipe, I also said, which is what I would do. And this was also a time when Trump supporters were getting slaughtered. Like Jovi Val, who's since lost his mind, got bottled in the face. They were being chased down the street. They were being killed, stabbed, shot, and they weren't fighting back. So when I said we need more violence from the Trump people, I was talking about these people who were just getting fucking steamrolled. That's why you see Proud Boys fighting so much. Because back then it was a civil war. It still is. But the Antifa and BLM have shifted their attention from Trump supporters to the entire fucking country and each other. These are not civil people. These are not opinions, because again and again, there has been violent action and harm behind these words. Seriously shocked you shared this with honor. Frankly, it reeks of the trite geriatric punk rally cry of conservatism is the new punk. Yeah. Cop-like behavior? Fuck you. Where do you get your information? Yes, I realize Proud Boys were a tongue-in-cheek response to Antifa violence. I actually subscribe to Censored and have never... Notice, isn't it funny how I can't get into this argument because I'm banned from Facebook, and he can't type our URL. That's banned from Facebook. So they can say dumb shit like it shouldn't be in the marketplace of ideas, and we're not in the marketplace of ideas, so we can't defend ourselves. This is how they win. They don't fight fair. They don't let you in the ring. And then they talk about how it's self-defense for me just to get sucker punched when I walk down the street. I've never witnessed Gavin advocate for violence with the exception of self-defense. Do enlighten us to back up your accusations. Giving a platform to Zuby, and then he's going to say Candace Owens, Cornel West. Fighting solves everything. We need more violence from the Trump people, Trump supporters. Choke a motherfucker, choke a bitch, choke a tranny, get your fingers... Yeah, you're Bud Gavin. Yeah. I mean, when the context of that was these people having their faces repeatedly spat on, which is a big fucking deal. In fact, I talked to cops about it, and they said, they'd show me like a bite mark on their hand, and they go, yeah, if I try to like press charges for that, the top brass at the police station just says, that's what you signed up for, buddy. But he said they do give exceptions for spitting in the face. If someone spits in my face, and this was pre-COVID, he told me this, they usually are able to press charges. So it's considered a big deal, even among communities where violence is not considered a big deal. Can you call for violence generally? Fighting solves everything. Fighting solves everything. When people have a problem with that, you know that they don't know any working class people, because that's a normal working class mantra. It's everywhere. And yeah, Trump supporters were getting their asses handed to them around 2015 when I said those things. Is that it? This is getting kind of long. There, just simply having Richard Spencer on in any context is evil. You're speaking in memes. And then he says that shows this video, which is mostly Vic Berger. Vic Berger's job is to edit things and make them look like what they aren't, which he proudly says. He's a comedy editor. Like, he'll take a Giuliani speech and then add all the people just listening and make it look like those are awkward pauses because he's bombing. Then he'll zoom in on the face. Like, that's what the guy does. It's almost like collage work. But now this takes it as a serious fucking thing. So I started this gang called the Proud Boys. Now, that's like Vince McMahon talking about the WWE and saying, I started this cult called the WWE. Like, you're being hyperbolic because it's a comedian's podcast and you're using colorful language. But a gang has top-down command, and a gang does illegal activities. Proud Boys are neither. So if we're talking legal definitions, no. But the Bloodhound Gang, in that kind of a context, yes. Whenever there's trouble, we're on the double. We're the Bloodhound Gang.
You realize nobody cares about actual gangs anymore? That actually kill people?
Yeah, like, what about MS-13?
Nobody cares.
Look Look at that. Isn't that weird editing? Here's what they stand for. And then they saw some random chick with a Confederate flag. So now your brain goes, Proud Boys stand for slavery.
We will kill you. That's the Proud Boys in a nutshell. We will kill you. We look nice. We seem soft. We have boys in our name. But like Bill the Butcher and the Bowery Boys, we will assassinate you.
Okay, that's hyperbole. Now, this is the group I was just talking about. They throw a bottle of piss and they say, you want to go. 4 years.
I agreed to do the talk. It's because I'm allowed to bring all my...
I was just visiting the stop. That guy is in trouble because he got vegetables for his fellow prisoners. 4 years later. The other guy, John Kinsman, you're about to see him kicking. He has never seen his 3-year-old daughter once. I was there in the prison on Father's Day. It was fucking empty. There was maybe 3 other people visiting on Father's Day. And we had to leave Max early because Max's father was there, Rocky, to see his son on fucking Father's Day. And I talked to his parents outside and his mother is not happy. And guess who she's most angry with?
Who?
You.
Me.
That's why I was saying kill yourself.
Oh.
She's mad at the right-wing media, conservative press. And no, people don't talk about that enough. Where was Breitbart?
Right.
Where was Daily Wire? Where was the New York Post? No one had these guys' backs. No one told their side of the story.
It's true. By the way, he tries to make them look like innocent victims here, where they're standing around menacingly, wearing all black with masks.
Yeah, well, and the narrative that this fight became was that people of color and the marginalized groups, so like an East Indian, a little old Asian lady, and a gay, were all coming back from a knitting class. And then we're walking around like, who can we get? Hey, there they are. There's some fucking foreigners. And just beat them up.
Meanwhile, there was 3 white Antifa kids behind me while there was a Brooklyn and Bowery reporter next to me. And they were shouting like, nice MAGA hat. That would look good 6 feet under. And there was also cops escorting me to my car because I forgot where I parked and I was with Jeff.
Yeah, you want to talk about marginalized groups? Try being a conservative in New York City.
Yeah.
Try being a Trump supporter. If you want to talk about marginalized, we're not allowed into bars. Like, I've been kicked out of many bars just as I walk in. They're like, no, not you, out.
Yeah.
But people in MAGA hats in New York regularly get kicked out of bars.
By the way, the
marginalized? That sounds pretty marginalized.
The Antifa kid, he was like threatening me like a bunch of different ways, but the only reason he was safe is because there were cops there. Like, the cops weren't protecting me. This kid he had purple hair, he was thin and everywhere really that you look at. But that happened.
Now, part of the reason I agreed to do the talk is because I'm allowed to bring all my guys. And we can fight our way in and fight.
Okay, that part is accurate and in context. What's the problem here? There's mobs of people trying to kill me. At NYU, there was like 100 people. I got pepper sprayed in the face. If I wasn't with 12 Proud Boys, I could be dead. I could have been stabbed. So I agree to the talk when I can bring my guys because I need protection. I can't beat up 150 people. Can you?
You know, I just realized...
I've got nipples, Greg. Can you beat up 150 people?
This is a serious video with footstep sound effects and punch sound effects, like the Three Stooges.
To do the talk, it's because I'm allowed to bring all my guys. And we can fight our way in.
And that was a gunshot, by the way.
Part of the reason I agreed to do the talk is because I'm allowed to bring all my guys. And we can fight our way in and fight our way out. I think it's our job to do it. And the cops just turn a blind eye.
Right. Minor detail. First of all, the cops didn't turn a blind eye. They got there. The fight was over. They didn't have time to intervene. It was 17 seconds. 4 years for 17 seconds. And in the previous context, I'm talking about Antifa fucking terrorizing people. Like, whites behaving badly is a new segment we have. And they really like it when they can attack women. Yeah. Yeah, they love, a lot of the anti-vaxxers tend to be moms, maybe because they're working class and the men are at work. And they love going to anti-vax things because they can pick on middle-aged women.
Look at the Washington Post in 2017.
Black-clad Antifa members attack peaceful right-wing demonstrators in Berkeley. Well, I'm surprised.
I'm shocked.
Kyle Swanson, I think he's a New York Post guy. Look at 3-2. Just jump to 3-2 for a second. We've got a lot of shit today. Me not being here for 3 days means Gav sent himself a lot of emails. This is in England. Members. So the new thing with the left is attacking feminists because they believe in women, and there's no such thing as women anymore. So now you have liberal left-wing feminist women being attacked. Turn it up. He's screaming, "You're a fucking dinosaur." That was what Chris Evans was saying about Buzz Lightyear. You know the new Buzz Lightyear movie? It's got a lesbian kiss in it, and it has completely tanked. It's the biggest flop Disney's ever had. And people don't want to take their kids to a movie where lesbians are making out. They don't really want straight people making out in kids' movies either. Anything sexual should not really be in movies. He's screaming, and Chris Evans said that. He goes, "You're all dinosaurs. You're going to be extinct soon."
Wait, I got the meme.
Chris Evans has no kids. He's literally the end of his bloodline, and he's telling us we're not going to be around. Oh yeah, this was a good meme. They'll die off like dinosaurs. Lightyear getting stepped on by the dinosaurs. 57 million. You know what's funny? I got some gossip about Chris Evans. Remember that horrible stand-up comedy with the girl with the very big, long Jewish nose? And it was all about her grandmother telling her she's beautiful and how she's actually beautiful. It's a terrible... She's wearing like black slacks and high heel shoes, and it's her comedy special is intercut with her and her grandmother picking out clothes for her and telling her how gorgeous she is. And she's not. She dated Chris Evans, and she dumped him for being too much of a fag. He was such a left-wing pussy. You couldn't get much more left-wing than her, that she's like, "Sorry, I need kind of a man. Kind of a little bit." Maybe he's gay. Anyway, let's get back to this hit piece. 60 Minutes suggested I come on and talk. They want to do it with Tario, though. And Tario's lawyer said, no fucking way. I could go either way. I know it's going to be a hit piece, but shouldn't you be there to defend yourself?
Oh my God, is Sal?
I'm wearing a MAGA hat, as Sal is right now. Sal's in the studio, folks.
Oh my God, is Sal Cipolla? Where are you from? Out here.
Sal Cipolla, who was kicked out for going to Unite the Right.
Jenny Slate.
What?
Jenny Slate.
Jenny Slate, that's her name. She dumped Chris Evans for being a pussy.
MAGA hat, and some guy with a slightly punk demeanor comes up to you and says, "Hey, are you Sal or are you pro-Trump?" Choke him. Trust your instincts. Don't listen to what he has to say. Choke him.
Now, that's a video where this Antifa, what Antifa does is they talk to you and then the other members flank around the side.
That's happened to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it happened to you. So in this context, this Antifa person, I couldn't tell the gender, went up to Saul. She's like, "Hey, how's it going? Are you Sal?" Not Saul, Sal. And I was saying, you're about to get attacked. Antifa doesn't come up to people in MAGA hats and say, "Hi, what's going on? Can we talk?" So I was saying, trust your instincts, you're about to get mobbed. These are all techniques to survive violent attacks.
A video where I say, how about we start throwing bricks? Is that legal? You can't call for violence on a specific person, but can you say they're throwing bricks? We should throw bricks. Can you call for violence generally? Because I am.
Fighting solves everything. We need more violence from the Trump people, Trump supporters. Choke.
There I am with a broken plastic sword from a toy store.
No. You're brandishing a katana. Okay.
And the music.
It's so good.
But yeah, this is when old ladies were getting hit and people, and the police weren't doing anything. Like in Berkeley, the police were told to stand down as Antifa attacked Trump supporters, and they were confronted about it. You know what happened after that? Massive quitting from the Berkeley police, because they were frustrated that they couldn't do their jobs. They were being used by the Antifa-friendly mayor of Berkeley as tools.
Choke Get your fingers around the windpipe.
I want violence. I want punching in the face. I'm disappointed in Trump supporters for not punching enough.
Get a gun. Get ready to blow someone's head off. I've even killed people in my dreams. That's how awesome my
by the
gun
way,
is.
I'm talking about this after I had so many tangible threats, credible threats, death threats to my house that I had an armed guard outside. And I was like, if someone's coming to your house, you've got to shoot them. If someone's coming there to kill you.
Yeah,
I think the problem is with like people at Now This and Vic Burgers, they don't realize the violence that we're all ensconced in, totally surrounded by.
It seems out of place.
Yeah, unavoidable, and it sounds like I'm just saying, hey, pick up a gun and go kill some people. I'm saying no. If you're under siege and you're being attacked, like Zach, who's on trial for Jan 6, had a brick thrown through his window and just missed his daughter. It said Nazi on it. Or maybe it was his girlfriend. But yeah, they were throwing bricks through windows. Like, they tried to kick down Tucker Carlson's door. His wife had to lock herself in a pantry. I don't think you understand what goes on here.
Get in trouble, get arrested, get fired. Let's all get in this together. They can't kill us all.
Yeah, but I got 3 tips, man. Those will go through at least 3 bodies.
Oh, beautiful.
Love to show guns.
Plop. I love the way he falls on his ass. They said,
Well, that's an important one. I've told you about this before. So there I am punching a guy. There was a mob of this was a deplorable. There was a mob of 500 people throwing batteries and feces at us. And this one Antifa guy breaks from the pack just like a hyena and crosses my path and says, you want to go? Now, if I took any shit from him, it would have set off the mob, and who the fuck knows what would have happened to us? It's like yapping dogs. You have to bark them back. Get back, get back.
I said, yeah, I want to go. And I punched him in the face. And then Coulter emailed me later, and she goes, conservatives never punched anyone in the face. Finally, he's turning around. And then Melsford goes,
Yeah, by the way, Ann Coulter, who's regularly had her life threatened, who has to go walk around with armed bodyguards because she gets attacked so much. And I've said this to her, she doesn't like the subject. But I'm like, if you ever did die, like there was one comedy show she went to, and the people there, the wonderful peace-loving liberals, were doing this weird sort of pack thing where she was trying to hail a cab, but they were pushing in front of her, and she was getting pushed down the block. I wasn't there, I wouldn't have tolerated it. Eventually she did get a cab and escape, but they were doing some weird like mob Salem witch 1700s shit where they were trying to get her in an isolated area.
That happened to me also.
Oh really?
Yes, that's how that fight started at NYU. They just kept pushing me away from the police line, like backing up into you until you're like away from That's another tactic that I didn't know.
And if they had killed Ann Coulter that night, there was a picture of her like dead head like lying there with blood coming out of it. I guarantee you there'd be memes that would say nighty night and sleepy times.
Absolutely.
Like these people are deranged sadists who have never been punched in the face. I've been punched in the face. I know what it's like. It sucks. And the thing about being punched in the face is you talk differently to people after. You're a little more cautious. And you say things like, look, what do you want to do here? This is getting very unpleasant. I'm not enjoying this.
violence, are you? And I go, I absolutely am.
Drag for that one.
Effective thing.
This is a war.
Oh, is this?
That was Charlottesville.
And stand by.
Well, they really threw the kitchen sink at that to come up with a nothing burger, speaking of Vic.
Anyway, that's being used against me as some sort of evidence that I'm the worst thing in the world.
We still have both of our rebuttals up here.
Oh, yeah.
Even though that's not exactly what happened, but in my world of editing, it did.
Copy the music thing.
And I used a number of those phrases too, and looped them, slowed them down, and repeated those to get this, and slowed some of them down, so it just looks like it's just like this warping time when he's going, America! I just branched off of those to create this manic, 2 minutes of him kind of shocking people.
You ever notice when you actually see these people in real life, how totally petrified they are of the world? Like, look at that guy. He looks like he's scared of mosquitoes. And these are the people out attacking people and sabotaging lives. What is that, a satanic candle in the background? Nice.
Happened, but it's in my world of editing, it did.
How does it start, David?
There's the first one.
I forgot about this.
And there's the second one. He commented some stuff in there, and then he deleted his comment. It was, this is the best you can do. You dopes have nothing. You're defending legitimately bad people. Happy holidays. And then he links to Mike Cernovich beating his kids, which was another edited video that he did.
which Cernovich was going to sue him for. So he was like quiet to his kid because his kid was like crying on air or something. And then Berger added, whoosh, whoosh.
Yeah. And then he posts other things, and then he deletes them.
Yeah, he doxed. So what was the Jack Posobiec thing again? He doxed their wedding?
Yeah.
He doxed Night for Freedom, which ended with a Jewish man getting beaten and stabbed into pounded into cardiac arrest. He got punched in the face, strangled, had a heart attack, went to the hospital. The idiot Antifa guy got a year at Rikers for it. And that was all Vic Berger doxing the event with Chelsea Manning.
And then there's the other one where we,
Wait, go back to
in long form, debunk all the shit.
Oh yeah, we showed what all the clips were from.
Yeah. Yep. Vic Berger's a fraud.
So you still have that up on YouTube?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that stayed up there. All right, that's enough for that kind of talk. Let's change the subject. Like,